that one of the things that I got from the first presentation I went to was the guy that talked about the FISBOs.
Yep.
And he said to always end in a yes.
Yes, exactly.
So like, even if you ask them, can we meet up again or can I call you again in a couple weeks just to follow up? You just want to make sure you end in a yes. And I feel like that positivity will keep you from giving up calling FISBOs.
That's right. And you know what? They're basically telling you right off the bat that they're not perfectly in agreement with your whole plan, right? They're trying to save money, or they think they can do it themselves, or they don't value all the things, or quite frankly, don't understand all the things that a real estate agent does. And therefore they're trying to do it themselves. They're basically trying to cut you out. So when you approach them, you already know, like right off the bat, you're going to have to deal with some form of either lack of knowledge or lack of confidence or lack of money, right? And if we approach those conversations with this idea that, like, hey, we're professionals, right? We're in the market all day, helping buyers, helping sellers, learning the stats of the market, helping connect vendors to homeowners and all these things. And it's simply like, hey, I just want to see the house. I want to know who you are. I want to hear about your goals, and I'm here to help you. Right. And, 1 week they might say, well, somebody mentioned, the fact that I got no termite bond or something like that. They didn't see like the green circles or whatever. And so, do you have a termite company that, like, maybe I could go get a test that would tell everyone that I show the home to that I don't have termites? Boom, got you. Now you're adding value, right? And so that is really the role here. What we're trying to do is, how can we find a gap in what they want or need, and how can we fill the gap? And it is a game. I hate to say it this way, but it's a game, right? It's like you're almost courting so many at one time, putting them through the appropriate systems, checking up with them in a super systematic way with a super systematic list of questions. And then eventually you're going to start giving value to people. And then next, somebody's going to call you and say, Ashley, you're the one that's been calling me, for 6 weeks in a row. And I thought I could do this, but I'm just tired of it, right? And so come list my home. Or they'll say, hey, Ashley, guess what? We just got an offer, and, I think I got it all figured out, but we're ready to buy now, right? Do you want to help us on the buying side?
Right.
Hey, my friend isn't silly enough to believe they could do this themselves, so they want a real estate agent, and you've been pretty cool over the last month, so I connected you with them, right? Or them with you. So it's just don't get married to the individual, just do the process. Do it a lot.
Okay.
That's really good. Hey, Kim, you looking sharp today. Are you in? Man, you look like you're ready to teach a KW class.
Yeah. I thought about that after I put on this red jacket.
I love that. Never settle. All right. Tell me all about your mega camp experience so far, Kim.
Oh, it's great. It really is. Yesterday I didn't get in as many rooms as I would like to, so I'm gonna go back and look at some of the recordings. But what I've been getting from it is just focus, consistency, and pick your one thing. You gotta pick the one thing and do it over and over and over again. And that's that was kind of the first thing I saw. I watched the hacks, the first video.
Yeah.
Which is very good. I got to go back and watch that and take more notes, because he says some really good things in there. But basically what I've been getting from it is just consistency and doing that one thing over and over and over again.
So if you can, give me an example of something that you heard where somebody did the one thing over and over again and created mastery and then had wild success.
Okay, so there was this one lady on there. She has a team, and I can't remember which room I was in when I saw her, but she, it was like it hit me right in the face. She's a team leader, and I think she's in the San Francisco area. I'm not positive. But she wasn't doing her lead gen every day, and she had this
Yeah.
whole team that she expected them to do their lead gen every day, and she had this woman working for her that I guess she had like a manager of the lead gen operation.
Yeah,
And
so
then
she was the ISA. She was basically the lead coordinator, if you will.
right. And so she was going to lose this person because this person felt like, look, we're all here working hard. We're meeting our numbers, but you, the rainmaker, you're not meeting your numbers and you're not keeping up with what you need to do. And even though I don't have a team, I still felt that when she said it, because I'm like, well, if I'm not really focused on my one thing every day, and if my one thing has to be lead gen to get where I want to be or do what I have to do.
Yes, ma'am.
And yeah,
And
I'm
by
just
the
kind
way,
of failing. She's failing her team, but I'm failing myself, basically.
Fail's a very strong word. You know, I mean, you're learning, you know, like don't get too down on yourself, right? It's a good, many times for better or worse, these types of conventions are, quite frankly, they're not really affordable for a brand new agent, right? You know, if you're not like, you know, the expense of going to mega camp could be a whole commission check, right? And so if you're only going to have a couple of them in your first year, you may not be able to get this kind of powerful content ever if you don't kind of hit that precipice, you know. So I love the fact that you guys are getting access to this early. And sometimes you, like Andy Peters says, sometimes they stab you right in the front, don't they? It's like you're just like waiting, and then it's like boom, and you're like, oh yeah, Bill's been telling me a long time, right? You are that's why I asked that question at the very beginning. What's in jeopardy if you don't hit your goals?
Right.
I heard somebody say that. What's in jeopardy if you don't hit your goals? And the fact is that when you created a goal in your mind, it's oftentimes paired with what you'll do with the result. Like, so if I want to make 100 grand, or if I want to make $150,000, it's so that I can buy an investment property, pay off debt, make a contribution to my kids' college fund, whatever it may be, right? And sometimes we lose sight, we're not on track, and seemingly we're not trying to get back on track. I'm not, of course, talking about you directly, but, and then what happens is they don't get to make the donation. They don't get to pay off their kids' college debt or whatever, right? And then it's so solvable, right? All you got to do is get comfortable with, like you said, with the monotony of success.
Right.
The monotony of success. Do you know how many times Steph Curry shoots a three-pointer every day? Thousands. Do you think he's pretty good at shooting three-pointers? Probably the best in the world right now. Does he do the monotony of success every single day?
Yep.
I mean, literally hours, right? So how committed are you to being a master? So have you given any thought to what your one thing is going to be, Kim?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm not going to speak on it until we're all done.
Okay,
I want to
fair
finish
enough.
all of Mega Camp first, and then I'm gonna. Yeah, but I wrote it down, so we'll
I
see.
tell you, my mind has been spinning. I've got like half of my rough draft for my 2021 135s and my 2021 411, and I've been editing my 1-year goals and 3-year goals and 5-year goals. My brain is just like exhausted, and I'm just having a lot of fun. There's a document. Have you guys seen this document?
No, I haven't seen that.
So this is, I'm trying to think, I'll see if I can post the PDF this morning, but this is on one of the downloads that is available. And I think at the end of the day today, Jeff Woods and Jay Papazan are going to be doing a one thing class on kind of taking all the stuff that you've learned and you've taken notes on, and then turning that into an action plan where you're basically focused on, like we suggested, the one thing, right?
Is that going to be a general session or a private, one of those private sessions? Is that a general?
I think it's one of the breakout sessions, but if you look, I've only looked at 4 or 5 of them, but I believe that every breakout session is now available within. So if you go back to like a class on Tuesday afternoon and you click a breakthrough that you didn't go to, or Wednesday afternoon, it's right there. Just go into the room like you would have normally gone into the room, and you can watch the video. So like I watched the video on the profit share class. I'm halfway through the ISA class. The big sessions, those will be in the platform within a couple of days, is what I hear.
I couldn't get to my huddle coach yesterday to ask her how long will can you hear me? How long will the breakthroughs be? Like, how long will this platform be open? Will it be open?
My understanding is that it's going to be open for 60 days.
Yeah.
And then the content will be moved to KW Connect. So really, you should have access forever, basically.
Okay, great.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
They keep talking about what is ISA? What does
Good
that stand
question.
for?
So ISA is, sometimes they use the term a little, not exactly the way it should be used, but an ISA is an inside sales associate.
Oh.
An inside sales associate is somebody that is basically the receiver of inbound leads. So if it's pay-per-click or Google AdWords or Facebook campaigns or Zillow or sign calls or referrals or whatever, any inbound leads to the organization would go through the ISA. There's also somebody called, there's also a title called OSA, outside sales associate. Really, ISA has kind of become the umbrella term for both of those positions. An outside sales associate is really a person whose task or whose job is basically to pursue the leads, right? So that's circle prospecting, for sale by owners, expired listings, withdrawns, some circle prospect, or I'm sorry, all circle prospecting. It could be open house follow-ups, like any of that kind of thing. So one is in the receiving business, one is in the pursuit business, if you will, okay? Most of the time, the first hire a team makes is an OSA, but they call them an inside salesperson or ISA. So that is one of the things that we are in the very, very early stages of bringing on to our group, which is essentially what would be an OSA. An OSA would be tasked with posting Facebook ads, calling for sale by owners, expired listings, and basically teeing up appointments for you guys. You could opt into it for a small referral fee. So it's not a requirement that you participate, but it's just one more value add that if we can help with the lead acquisition and the lead, the courtship and the dripping and the touching and all that, because we keep hearing that generally you don't get the appointment on day one, you get the appointment somewhere between the 7th and the 12th follow-up, right?
Yeah.
Now you just got to let that sit in and say, am I willing to track these people for 7 to 12 follow-ups before I get a chance to meet with them? And I got news for you. If you're not willing to do that, it's going to be a tough road. However, you want to hear the good news? If you are willing to do that and you have a system in place to do it with a lot of people all at once, you will have the most incredible career ever. Isn't that fun? This is the easiest low-paying job you'll ever have, and it's one of the hardest high-paying jobs you'll ever have. That makes sense?
Bill, what's the term the acronym SOC? I heard some people on the West Coast using that for help, and I was like, what is SOC?
SOC?
Yeah, I was trying, I'm like, what is that?
I'm not sure what that is. I mean, SOI is sphere of influence.
Right, I know that, but I swore he said SOC. Maybe I misheard him, but he kept saying it over and over again. It was somebody in Washington State.
So if you can, tell me who it was and what video it was, and I'll see if I can figure it out.
His name was Wes, I believe, and he works in Washington State as a luxury agent. It was the luxury, I think it was the one that was Legion. I think it was yesterday afternoon. Let me see, I had them all written down.
Yeah, whatever information you can get on that, let me know, and I'll be happy to go back and watch that video. One thing that I keep, that we just keep hearing over and over, guys, is, and I know you both know this, but they're constantly learning. Mm-hmm. These are learning-based individuals, right? They have embraced the idea of bringing other people into their world. Kim, one thing I didn't say in response to the San Francisco story is, hey, we all have standards, right? And when you happen upon a super talented person like that woman who was the lead person, super talented people want to win, right? They want to win. They want to have great success. They want to make a lot of money. They want to make a big impact, right? And if they happen to cross paths with somebody who is not leading them to the level in which they need to be led or beyond, and not pushing them, then they will naturally try to push their supervisor. And that's not a good situation, right? The supervisor's lucky to have that woman still in her life, right? But she basically went to the team owner and said, look, I want to win, and I ain't winning here. So you better shape up or I'm out the door, right? Yeah. And first of all, it takes a lot of guts to do that. But secondly, it's natural when you realize that you're talent, right? And if you're talent, let's say you're an A-level talent, if you got a B-level leader, you're not going to stick around, right? If I'm a team owner and I'm trying to get you guys to work on my team, if you come into the room and you're like, this dude doesn't know anything about the industry, he doesn't know anything about leadership, he doesn't know anything about motivation or inspiration or goal setting or any of that, you're going to be like, I'm going to go hang out with somebody who does. This is ridiculous, right? So as you're building your business, don't forget, you also have to build your leadership acumen as well, right? And both of you guys have been leaders. I'm not speaking specifically to your personalities or your businesses, but don't forget that you got to continue to develop your leadership skills so that you can attract those super talented people, right? I mean, being a mother, for example, when I've talked to a lot of realtors who are like, oh, I've just been a stay-at-home mom for the last 10 years. I'm like, what are you talking about? Just? That's the hardest job in town. Mm-hmm. Right? If you can rally a house together, real estate's going to be a piece of cake. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. No, I mean that totally sincerely, right? I mean, you are juggling 25 things at once. You've established systems. You know how to talk to people, how to get what you need and want. I mean, real estate's a piece of cake. Yeah. All right, what else are you guys thinking? We don't have to talk about Mega Camp, but I'm all yours for another 9 minutes. What can I do to help you?
Well, Bill, my listing is active, and my buyer, it's just funny. Now the heat's on, right? After I've worked so hard to get her to put this thing on the market for 4 months. Now she's like, every day, what's going on today? What's going on today? Like, do we have any offers, Kim? It's incredible. It's been active for like 4 days, but the pressure's on me because the last 2 in her neighborhood sold in 3 days.
Yep.
And I figured out how that happened because it's investors from home partners pretty much going in there buying them up because they called me and they're like, Kim, if you can find some renters for that house, we'll go pay cash for it. So,
wait a second. Investors from where?
Home partners. It's at least to own. Yeah. So they're like,
you can rent those places out? There's no cap?
There is a cap, but they know how to get around it, and I don't know. I don't care. I just want to get the house sold for my client. I didn't get into it. They're like, if you find a buyer, we're going to make you a cash offer.
You mean renter?
Yes, I'm sorry, a renter. We're going to make a cash offer.
Are you going to, all right, let's talk about that for a second. Let's dissect that. Are they trying to get you to find a renter before you get an opportunity to market as a rental? Or you say, look,
it's already in their program. Like, they just needed permission to put it in their program and post it on their sites for renters. And I talked to my client and got her permission, and she was like, great, wherever the offer comes from, it comes from. So,
yeah, exactly.
So we've done that, and I've just been sending it out to everybody in my sphere of influence and telling them that, hey, this is an option. You can be a rent to own, or you can own it if you're not quite ready. So that's kind of what I'm in. I'm probably halfway through my contacts right now, and actually I've been getting some callbacks on it, and so I'm just following up. And we are getting showings every day, so that's good.
So basically, you just need a renter to appear from either your world or their world, and they're going to give you a cash offer.
Right.
Well,
did they already make?
You've been doing a great job. What's this woman all upset about?
They're just.
Did they already make you the cash offer, or do you know? So do you know what?
Well, nothing you can't. I mean, it's not in writing. It's all verbal. So
right,
I just
verbally.
So I've got to come up with the renter somehow. And actually, I'm in a system that they have too, where if a renter's interested, they'll call me directly. So we'll see what happens. I'm working it. It's just it's not moving fast enough for her because the other 2 condos in her area sold in 3 days. So, and the problem is, like, my open houses have been busy too. I've had a good amount of people show up at the open house, but they all say the same thing. Like, they want they want a real townhouse. But I don't understand why they're showing up. They see it's a condo.
So I see that all of the troubles that I dealt with for years and years are not unique to me, right? Yeah, sometimes you're going to shake your head a few times a day in this business. Great job. So I would go out and call the guy from Home Partners and said, I want to know exactly what you're looking for. And that will become my mission to go. I mean, you could work this little system, right?
Yeah, we did that yesterday.
Go to a homeowner and say,
interview.
hey, I got a pitch for you. You let me list your home. You want to list the home? I'll get you a great cash offer. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to help the new person find a renter, and it's going to be totally seamless for you. Are you ready to sell? Now's the best time in the world to sell. Average days on the market is 3.
That's a great script. That's good, Bill.
Right. I mean, really, one thing that I heard over and over yesterday was coming from value, right? You got call with a purpose. Don't call it a, quote, check-in, right? Call with a purpose. The purpose could be, hey, I wanted to invite you to a home buyer seminar. Or, hey, I want to tell you about refinancing. Or, hey, I want to tell you about this investment group that I'm working with. You don't have to say, hey, it's Home Partners. You can call them by yourself if you want, right? How can I, what can I deliver to you this morning, right? It's like, can I talk to you about how inventory is low and we need new listings? Hey, can I call you and see if you by chance know of somebody who's looking to sell a home that fits this description, right? Hey, I wanted to see how you were. Is everything okay? I know you're a business owner. Have you, how's business? Like, I talk to buyers and sellers all the time. If I come across somebody that could be an ideal client for you, how would I be able to recognize that, right? And that way I'll pour into you and offer and offer and offer and offer, and then it will feel really strange if you don't reciprocate.
Yeah.
Make sense? Okay. Ashley, tell me more about your experience. Anything on your mind right now?
No, I just I liked how one of the people yesterday said, don't try to be good at everything. Just pick 2 or 3 things. Cause I feel a lot of times very overwhelmed. I feel like I'm on the right path and I'm doing the right things. And then 800 other things get thrown at me. And I'm like, wait, I'm not doing that, you know? And I'm like, should I be doing that instead of what I am doing? And it's very overwhelming. And so to hear somebody say that, just pick a couple things. And then she also said something that her team does is to not let lead gen get overwhelming. Every morning they make 5 calls, 5 social media comments, not just likes, but comments.
Exactly. 5.
And then 5 texts. And I was like, I can do that. Like that puts it in
on my page. See that?
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. It just makes it easier to see it like that. Like, okay, that's doable. It's something I can do, check off my list and move on with my day and feel like I accomplished something.
Well, it's not necessarily you're just, it's not that you feel like you have accomplished something. You truly have.
Yeah.
It's real. It's real as can be.
Yeah.
Hey, Darlene.
Hey.
I think that's the thing is like let's say you hear all this strategy for, open houses and you're like, oh, I'm going to rock open houses. And then you go to a class, it's like, hey, pay-per-click. And you're like, I'm going to do pay-per-click too. And it's like another class, it's like client events. And you're like, client events, this is awesome. Let's do some client events, right? And before you know it, you don't do any of it.
Yeah.
Right. And I would encourage you to make a list, right? Make a list of all the things that seem appealing to you, right? That you've got some curiosity about. Maybe you want to spend an hour, every week saying, hey, this client event thing, I'm not sure if it's going to be my one thing this week or this year, but I'm intrigued by this. I want to learn more about it, right? So put it on a list and make some notes and have a little file on that. And then at some point you may meet somebody who can give you some more content around it or some more inspiration around it. And then that becomes your one thing, right? But I want you to understand that it is, we're playing the long game here, guys. We're playing the long game. And there are people, that's why we have a 1-3-5, by the way, right? Don't go after, 25 different lead gen strategies. Pick a couple that are going to blossom your business and that most importantly, you have fun doing, right? Yeah. If you're like, oh, well, people get leads by door knocking, but I don't actually want to door knock. And it's going to be hard to get energy around door knocking and make it a part of my day and all this stuff. Well, guess what? You're going to be it's not going to work. You're going to be pretty lousy at it and you're not going to stay on track. So and meanwhile, your mind is also going to get frustrated because you're not on pace, right? So, I mean, how many things have we heard this week that are really cool ideas that are fun that you could adopt and say, hey, this is how I'm going to grow my business. I'm going to grow my business by helping other business owners. I'm going to grow my business by being a social media, phenomenon, right? I'm going to grow my business by dealing with renters and for sale by owners. I mean, anything you do, there are people right now doing it at a high, super, super high level that are willing to share everything they're learning and all the tricks they've figured out and all the mistakes that they've overcome and all the money that they spent and time they spent incorrectly. They'll give you the shortcut for all of it. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the beautiful thing about this organization. All right, let me hit the pause or stop button on the recorder, and we will start again.